Here is my list. Finally, I know I'm a little late, but I had to compile my list for my top 10 best films of 2020. I know there's going to be some controversial picks. I know some people, they might even turn the video off once they hear what's on my list, but fuck it. I have to be honest with myself. Let's start at number 10, The Old Guard. Here's a movie that was a pleasant surprise because I'm not aware of the comic book that it's based on. I love Charlize Theron, and I will watch anything and everything that this lady is in. And I thought she was great as far as being believable as a character that was immortal or that has been alive for so many centuries or whatever it is. At number 9, Becky. Here's a movie that I was like, huh? A rated R Home Alone, basically, is what we have here. We have a little girl, Becky, who she's having a hard time after her mom passed away, and her father, Joel McHale, he's trying to date somebody new, and this is really angering her, and she's acting out and being very bad. But again, it's a rated R Home Alone where she has to take these guys out. It's not goofy, it's bloody, it's violent, it's serious, and she takes care of business. Kevin James as this neo-Nazi type horrible person was a huge departure for him, but it was nice to see him go for something different. Coming in at number 8, The Rental. This is Dave Franco's first directorial movie, and it's a horror movie. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way it was shot. I enjoyed the way that it was paced out with the slow build of getting to know and get introduced to these characters. I think horror movies can do a better job at explaining these characters, showing who they are, and giving some backstory like this movie does. Alison Brie, of course, it's his wife, but I thought she was very good. But once you see what happens at this cabin and what's really going on as far as them being watched, as far as somebody trying to come in to try to kill them, it gets creepy, it gets disturbing. It's the way that this plays out. Dan Stevens as the boyfriend, he does some assholey things. He can come off as unlikable, but I thought the movie did a good job of not making people too stereotypical. If somebody is kind of a dick or does dickish things, they're not a horrible human being. They have emotions and they feel for some of the bad things that they do, like him. At number 7, Sonic the Hedgehog. I cannot believe that I put Sonic on my best movies of the year. Maybe that's because a lot of films got pushed back. Maybe that's because there wasn't a whole lot for me to choose from. But honestly, I did enjoy Sonic. I did have a blast with it. I'm just more surprised because of how much I hated that first initial trailer, how much I hated that first design for Sonic, and how horrible and fuzzy he looked. Just really annoyed me. But thankfully, they listened to the fans. They changed the design. They made him look more like the video game cartoon, and he was fun. It made me enjoy the movie a lot more. Maybe it would have been the same exact film, but if he still looked like that, it would have taken me out, and I would have been sitting there too angry to probably appreciate anything else going on. As Jim Carrey goes as Dr. Robotnik, he's over the top, he's silly. Some people are past that point with Jim Carrey, but I thought he still pulled that off as well. I will actually be looking forward to a sequel if that ends up happening. Coming in at number 6, yes, I'm going to do it. Wonder Woman 1984. I know people are shutting the video off right now because they cannot believe that I would put this horrible, horrible film, in their opinion, on here. But what can I say? I was excited to see something superhero related after so long. I was anticipating this movie very much so. I very much enjoy Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I thought all of the acting all across the board was great. There were some moments that I geeked out over. There were some moments that I did have issues with, but I thought, in my opinion, the good outweighed the bad. The fun aspect of it and the message behind it. At number 5, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or the Fantabulous Emancipation, whatever the hell this film was called. Look, this was a movie that I almost can't believe we got as far as Harley Quinn getting a solo film. In fact, she's been kicking ass, Margot Robbie has, as this character. Yes, I could complain that we have rushed past the point of her and Joker being a couple, and that they're already broken up, and that they're already trying to detour her as her own heroic like figure. I would love to see more of her as a villain. I would love to see more of her being that psychotic psycho self. Her dynamic with a lot of the other characters in the movie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Journey Smollett, even Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. As much as I don't like Black Mask not having his mask on, because I've never seen that before, and as different as he acted, more flamboyant, more over the top, I still thought he did a good job. It's not the Black Mask I've always wanted to see in live action, but I just thought his portrayal was as good as it was. And number 4, Freaky. Freaky was a huge surprise, something that I barely was aware of. And then once it came out and I saw it, I said, wow, this was fun. This was horrific in some cases, the kills and whatnot. But it was the body switch plot. Yes, we've seen it before, Freaky Friday, and I'm probably forgetting 5 or 10 other movies that have the same thing. But seeing Vince Vaughn play a teenage girl was so good. It provided me with so much fun seeing him get into the situations that he got into, whether it was high school, whether it was his friends or his mother or whatever it was. I just thought that they brought so much fun to this. Seeing Catherine Newton as a psycho killer, I think she did a great job. Here's a movie that was made by the same director of Happy Death Day, and I think it's that level of fun that some horror movies miss nowadays, and so maybe that's why I craved it so much. Very enjoyable though. Number 3, Bad Boys for Life. Again, here's a movie that came out in January, so I had no idea that it would stand this high up in my top 10 of the year. But Will Smith, Martin Lawrence were great. They were funny. They were charismatic. They had that dynamic, that chemistry that you wanted to see them have. And I was worried about maybe them being too old for this shit or them not being able to be believable and pull this off. But they were. They worked their age into the story, and it was a big plot point for both of them, even Will Smith. And I thought the story, the villain's story, was very compelling. So much more interesting than it really had a right to be, but they paid attention. They took the time. And to see where this franchise might go, if they decide to do that. At number 2, Soul. Soul, honestly, almost was my number 1 movie of the year. It came very late in the game, but it was so good. Pixar proves once again that they are not afraid to go to that next level with the adult themes, with the adult plot, talking about death and talking about appreciating your life and the fact that it was their first black main character. So many extra points are given because even if all that stuff wasn't there and it was well made, it would probably be on the list at somewhere. But they went all out. They went above and beyond. They cared about what people might want to see from a Pixar movie right now. But for my number 1 movie of 2020, might be somewhat of a surprise if you haven't already guessed it. The Invisible Man. I know. I know. It's kind of a horror movie, and it's one of those films that not everybody probably loved it as much as I did, but I could not believe how much they pulled this off, given the fact that Universal tried to jumpstart a dark universe with the Mummy and whatever other film they were trying to go for. But this showed them how you do it. This is how you use the Universal monsters. This is how you tell their stories and update it and make it interesting. You have great actors and actresses in here, like Elizabeth Moss. Man, she had to be as good as she was. She has to carry the movie because the adversary, the Invisible Man himself, is invisible. You don't see him, so it's her reacting off to it. It's her giving a performance where she was terrified but did have to become strong, and it had some dark moments. It did. I love the sequence in the hallway where the Invisible Man just goes after all those cops and guards and kills them or knocks them out and just that whole sequence was very inspired, very cool. Lee Whannell's direction, he's one of those directors that you're going to have to look out for, not just because of his past stuff with Saw and the Insidious movies, but after Upgrade and now this, yeah, he's a guy that I can't wait to see what he has coming next. So, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of my best of 2020 list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What's some of your favorite movies of the last year? Thanks for watching. I'm sure I'm missing some. I know you guys are going to comment and say, what about this? What about that? You forgot one. Yes, I admit there are a few movies from 2020 that I do want to check out that possibly maybe could have made the list. And if they do, and if I review it, I will readjust and I will let you know if it made the list. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!